Hey everyone, Kemper Rory here, and I just wanted to share with you a book that I've read recently and very much enjoyed. The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. This is a classic of massive proportions and also requires a great laborious effort to get through. That said, it is also a marvel of storytelling that I think everyone should read. Now, this is a story of a young man named Hans Castorp who goes up to the Swiss Alps to a sanatorium to visit his cousin who's sick. And, oops, he finds out he's sick too and gets stuck there for 7 years. And it's through these 7 years, across these 7 years rather, that he engages in deep philosophical conversations and enjoys the decadence of six meals a day, lots of sleep. It's essentially a resort for the sick, for the terminally ill. And this is a part of the book that makes it very difficult for people to, follow through and actually read it, because there's no plot. It's just a guy who goes to visit his cousin and gets stuck there and has conversations. But these conversations are rich and deeply philosophical, often about politics and human nature and how we live within a political world and what our role in everything. But the book is also about wasting away due to sickness, and how a sickness carves into your life and changes you forever, and how one can get lost in it and just waste their years atop the mountain for 7 years. But these discussions are still enthralling, and while laborious, they really do immerse you in the setting there. And also, this book has some of the most beautifully written lines I've experienced. So as an author, myself, I definitely appreciate that aspect of the book, that it's written extremely well. In fact, I'll read to you a passage right now. "Oh, see, we sit here telling our story far from you, but our eyes and heart turn toward you now, and we explicitly invoke you, speak your name aloud, making you as present as you constantly have been, are, always will be, in our silent thoughts. Blustering wastelands, spanned by pale, bright gray, drenched with a dry, salty tang that clings to our lips. We walk and walk along the light springy beach, strewn with seaweed and tiny shells, our ears swathed by the wind, by the great, ample, mild wind that passes freely through space, unencumbered and without malice, filling our heads with a gentle numbness. We wander, and watch the roiling sea send tongues of unrushing foam to lick our feet and fall back again." These the descriptions Thomas Mann uses in this book are just gorgeous. So along with the book's beautiful prose, it's important to keep in mind that the book is about sickness, about how it can carve into someone and change the very essence of who they are. It can disrupt everything, stop you in your tracks, leave you immobile while the world passes you by. And that is the core theme of the book, and why this book is so important. It builds understanding and empathy for those who are sick, those who might have cancer, or in this book, a lot of them have tuberculosis, which something we don't have to deal with anymore, but there's plenty of other things that will completely derail one's life. And so as an author, not just an author, but as a neurodivergent author, I really adore this book for its amazing portrayal of sickness and how most people don't understand it. Most people wouldn't ever understand it without first becoming sick themselves. So being put in the shoes of Hans Castorp and watching him completely change from the naive 23-year-old to the mature and brooding 30-year-old he is by the end of the book, because of all the sickness and death that he has personally experienced while up on the mountain, and then watching him having to choose to leave the mountain and then rejoin society A society, a world that no longer looks like it did when he left it, because it went on and changed without him. This is a very profound feeling of isolation and just bleakness that comes from sickness. And I think that everyone should read it for that reason. We should always read to build empathy and understanding about our fellow persons.